It looked like it's happening. Mississippi State is looking to snatch up Oklahoma offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby as their next head coach. On3 just put a post out, and of course, we got to talk about it. So we're not going to bury the lead. We're going to talk about him as well as potential replacements, because now it's time to talk about it. Speculation was there. There was rumors everywhere. But I like to wait till we get a little bit more concrete information, and a lot of stuff's been flying, and the minute that tweet popped up, I was like, oh, that means that it's time to talk about it. So let's dive into that. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. We're going to dive into Coach Jeff Lebby, who has orchestrated one of the top offenses in college football, getting his first head coaching gig in the SEC. It looks like he's going to be taking over for Zach Arnett, who was the interim coach. Well, he ended up becoming the head coach at Mississippi State this season after the passing of Mike Leach last year. And so since Arnett kept everything going, it appears that now, Jeff Lebby's leaving Oklahoma. And so I'm curious how y'all feel. Hop in the comments, let your boy know what's your thoughts. Had a few people jump into my video from early this morning about Lebby leaving. And, I'm going to be honest. I wanted to wait to give my feelings, but shoot, we're at this point now. Why not dive into it, right? College football is still finishing up. Games are going off like crazy. And I'm going to tell you all now, it's definitely a good thing that Jeff Lebby is headed to Mississippi State. And the reason is he deserves the opportunity to be a head coach. I know that he felt like he was kind of spurred whenever the UCF job came up and, Josh Heupel left and he decided to stay. UCF decided they did not want to go with him as head coach and went with Gus Malzahn, and he left and went to Ole Miss. And I know that he felt like he's a little slighted. He was orchestrating one of the top offenses in college football there at Central Florida with Dylan Gabriel as his quarterback. And so then he went over to Ole Miss, got Matt Carroll, drafted in the first round, did everything he could to make him look good. And so comes to Oklahoma, basically the CEO of the offense here. And this was that opportunity for him to prove that he does call the plays, he runs things. And to be honest, as much as we faulted him in numerous occasions, guess what? He did well overall. I mean, overall, the Sooner offense is one of the top offenses in college football. It's not perfect, but it is one of the top ones. I mean, where are we going to argue, right? It's number 3 in scoring offense in college football, right behind Oregon and LSU. When you look at like the total offense itself, it's 4th in college football, averaging over 500 yards. One of 6 teams in college football that puts up over 500 yards a game. And so since that's the case, Venables and them were definitely working on and encouraging him to get looks, talking to other teams, letting them know that he's definitely someone to consider, because not only has he done a good job here, but he'll do a really good job elsewhere. And so, we had all of the kind of the distractions and stuff earlier this season with his father-in-law coming down, but that's no longer here. We have Lebby going to Mississippi State. And so because of that, the question now is, who does Oklahoma hire as a replacement? Now, granted, on the staff, there's a few people to look at. I mean, Coach Bill Beatonbow has been an offensive coordinator before. He was actually co-OC here when Lincoln Riley was on staff. And we've seen how prolific those offenses were. You have Seth Luttrell as well as Matt Wells, who both are your air raid type coaches, come from the air raid tree of Mike Leach, similar to what Jeff Lebby did. Luttrell played here at Oklahoma, and Wells was a quarterback at Utah State. And so, he coached at Texas Tech before coming here as an analyst. So you have 2 analysts as options. You've got Emmett Jones, the wide receiver coach, who some are saying needs the opportunity to be a offensive coordinator so he can get a head coaching job. I know he vied for the one at Kansas whenever Les Miles got fired, and he didn't end up getting it. And so there's another option there. I don't believe DeMarco Murray was interested in it, but I'm not sure. And then, of course, Joe John Finley, the current tight end coach. I'm sure that he's probably going to follow Jeff Lebby over to Mississippi State, as they're they're pretty tight. And if I'm correct, that was his best man at his wedding. And so there's a lot of options when it comes to who's going to take over for it. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to keep it within the pool internally. I don't see us going externally for a new coach. I think we keep the system simple, keep a similar system going. I'm sensing it's probably going to be Seth Luttrell is going to be your main offensive coordinator, and he will potentially take over tight ends once we see Josiah Finley go and follow Jeff Lebby, which I anticipate. And then I can see Matt Wells moving up to quarterback coach and him working with Luttrell. And I think if you put the co-OC on someone, it's most likely going to be Emmett Jones, or you throw Emmett Jones the assistant head coach position because he's already the passing game coordinator. So you keep him there, meaning, he helps with coordinating things on that side. I anticipate that Oklahoma's going to stay in-house with the hire, bring in, because Wells as well as Luttrell are former head coaches in college football, and we saw Luttrell had did some great things over at North Carolina when he was underneath Fedora. And so the good thing is we can keep it in-house, and we've got guys that are willing to up their game, right? They're guys that are going to be able to do things that you would need to do in order to be successful at the quarterback position here in the offenses here at Oklahoma. And so I'm stoked that, Lebby got his job. He is now going to be headed over to Mississippi State. I think it's a good hire for them. It's a great hire for a first-time head coach, because with what Mississippi State does offensively and what they did with Leach, now that he's no longer there, you bring in a Jeff Lebby who's going to run something similar. Their offense should still maintain and be potent. And so it's going to be fun seeing what Lebby can do there at Mississippi State, bring them back to offensive prominence, back, give them the Dak era of play. I think that he'll see some success there. And as long as they're patient with him, I think he'll be fine. Now, the only problem Mississippi State runs into when it comes to coaches is people try to poach their guys a lot. It's considered a stepping stone job, similar to what you've seen at the University of Tulsa as well as University of Houston. Places like that. You come in, you coach there for a bit, and boom, you bounce because, other teams are going to be able to pay more. Now, Mississippi State's got an opportunity to hang on to a guy, help him develop as a head coach and do things. So I'm excited for Lebby. Hop in the comments, let your boy know what's your thoughts. I'm curious, what options do you all think we have for offensive coordinator? The interview process is going to start, so I'll probably go search through and see other options outside the house, but I do believe it'll be an internal hire. Only makes sense to me, right? If you've made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love to have you join this family of college football fans. We talk a lot of OU football, but we're expanding into college football in general, and I promise you're going to get an Unfair Sports podcast episode on Monday. I'm going to go ahead and record it and everything. Son, tomorrow, have it prepped for you all. Talk through college football, talk through conference championship games, drop you one on Monday, potentially drop you one also on Wednesday. So keep your eyes open on that, all right? Well, I'm going to bed. YouTube says check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it. I appreciate y'all supporting this year. We're at 12,000 subs, and we're going to go higher. And we'll talk a lot over the next couple of days. Peace.